Rawr.
When did we all get this dumb?
Almost only counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and nuclear warfare. I don't see any bodies, so it doesn't count.
I'm angry about time.
I'm the chef. I want to hear one thing. Yes, chef.
Come on, man. Use your brain.
The Why I'm Angry podcast starts now.
Oh, man. It's going to be a good one. I got Jboots coming in here shortly. We're here in the Freestyle Man Cave studio. And you make sure that you're heading over if you want to watch us live or you want to check us out, see what we look like. We're on Twitch, Facebook, the ever-popular YouTubes, and on the, what else? Why I'm Angry podcast. Just search at Why I'm Angry podcast and you'll find us, or get on your Why I'm Angry podcast on the Googles, and you'll get our lovely podcast brought up. You can also check out our podcast anywhere you get podcasts. If you're listening to this, then you already know that. If you're watching this, then go check us out on the podcasts. So, here in the lovely Freestyle Man Cave studio, and produced by our Freestyle Creative Group. So, all of that stuff taken care of. Make sure that you're also getting our merch at our new merch store at whyimangry.com. And that will get us in here. Jboots, you there? Jboots.
In the house.
Jboots in the house. All right. I think I've got to kill this off so that... Jay, you there?
Yeah. Are you
All
there?
Right, now I can hear you. Yeah, but I can't hear myself, which is good. Because I was hearing myself in an echo, and that was just terrible. So I was talking about the infamous debates. A lot of people were saying that, Donald Trump pretty much just handcuffed him by not showing up, and kind of showed how terrible the debates could be, since he didn't show up, and then Fox News decided that no one could actually take coverage off the debates. Like you couldn't play more than a 3-second video clip, and that if you played more than a 3-second video clip or a 3-minute video clip, you then had to delete it by the end of the week, and there's no archival abilities to any of the clips.
Oh,
yeah.
From Fox?
Yeah, from Fox. No, yeah, and there's no, you can't keep any of the footage. You can't, even if you put a 3-minute clip on your page, or you put like 20 little 30-second clips of each of the, of the candidates or whatever, or just like the one talking point each one had, at the end of the week you have to delete it because they're not allowing any archival of the footage.
Oh.
So the RNC can't keep the footage for any reason. Like they can't, it's just Fox being Taco Bell kind of, like Fox used to be like this decent, like, hey, we're going to, be fair and balanced. And now it's like, we're just going to be bat crazy.
Yeah.
We just, we decide to fire our most popular host and breach a contract, pay him what does he have on Fox News or somebody in the ownership that they said we're going to fire you and pay you $150 million for the next 2 years?
Yeah, he set up pretty good.
He can't go on another TV show, but do you need to for $150 million?
He's allowed to do his own private thing, right? Like he's allowed to have his own private YouTube.
He's towing the line with this Twitter deal. but like, yeah, he can do his own, like he can fund his own private deal. He just can't, he can't go on any of the like broadcasting stations. Like, I'm not sure what they would say about him going on like the Blaze or not. Like, just because like, I think it's held by some cable companies. And so I'm not sure if he can go like on something like that even, or like Newsmax or something. So
yeah.
Did you take the time out of your busy schedule to watch the debates?
I did not.
Yeah. I watched most of the debate. I had to go get a steak sandwich about halfway through, just to be able to finish the debate. You know, have a good
That
reason
bad, huh?
to be sitting there and chilling. No, actually, they were enlightening. I said at the end, I said it was nice to not have Trump there, because you got to see the arguments of the people who if Trump is put in jail, like I'm watching right now on Newsmax, they've got the live footage of Trump going into the courthouse to be arraigned and everything. And I guess he's already paid his bail, so he should just be, take the mug shot. They should delouse him or whatever they do, and then let him go, because I'm sure they all want that picture of naked Trump. So I mean, I'm sure he's got to put like his like. I just don't understand how, like, a former president, you got to get his fingerprints and all that. Like, oh, we didn't know it was. Oh, we thought it was a different Trump. Okay. No
one else looks like him.
So they're right now. They've got him in the car. He's I think he's actually gone in, and Secret Service. I mean, he rides with a Secret Service motorcade. Like, we know where he's going to be. Why put up even a $200,000 bond? Because it's not that much. It's like, that's like putting it like $150 for me or something like that.
Right.
Like I can go to the bank account and probably pull $150. I mean, it's not something I carry around in my pocket, but
right.
It's probably something I can get. So anyhow, they've got him. They've got the motorcade out there. They've got the whole shindig going, and all that good stuff. But so anyhow, I thought it was actually nice that they didn't have Trump there to, like, just how it would have gone. They would have beat up on Trump. They would have been like, "Hey, you're a liar. Hey, you're going to jail. Hey, they're arresting you tomorrow." All that crap. Right. And so taking him out of it, they did say, like Chris Christie, he just, he complained about Trump a bunch, and he got a little.
Is he still alive?
Yeah, which I don't know, man. He lost a lot of weight and then all of a sudden gained it all back. Yeah, he looks like old Chris Christie, but so because he had, I mean, like some of them were talking, he had gastric bypass surgery and lost a ton of weight, and then all of a sudden, like, now he looks like the same Chris Christie who ran in
2012.
No, he ran against Trump in 2018 or 2016.
Oh, 16.
Yeah. I think he ran in 2012 also, so I just, I mean, with all this running, you'd think he'd be a little less hefty. Anyhow, so it was nice there. This Vivek Ramaswamy got under Chris Christie's skin a little bit. He said, "Look, man, why would we listen to a guy that sounds like another version of ChatGPT?" He also likened him to Barack Obama because he was a skinny guy with skinny arms with a weird, funny last name. And that was about all the clever quips that Chris Christie had.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
That was pretty much the highlights of Chris Christie's day. Honestly, Ramaswamy, he said the right things.
Almost too good to be true, right?
He's 38 years old. He was born the same year my wife was. So, to me, he's younger than I am. I've never had a presidential candidate, I don't think, that was young, like a serious presidential candidate that was younger than I am. Because I heard some polls right before I came on, and those polls were like, he's taken a few extra points and he might be ahead of DeSantis in like Iowa and a couple of the first battle states.
Yeah.
I even and so like I've heard him talk a few times, and a few times he's sounded amazing. And then I heard him talk one time on one of the shows, and he just sounded like he didn't know exactly what was going on. Like maybe he just didn't know all the players in the game, and so somebody like he didn't know who one of the major talking heads was, and he just kind of generalized him a lot and said some things that like were going to be hard to walk back.
Yeah.
And so with that, like not, just that kind of, speaking abilities, like I was a little put off by that. And
right.
So then last night though, he did show his age. He's just like a couple of times he was, we're here just to have fun, guys, type thing. And it's like, nah, really, you're here to figure out who's going to be, the leader of the free world and the leader of part of the not free, who's going to hold back the non-free world. And, so know that this isn't just like a fun exercise of debate, like you would in college or something like that. This is, but he did keep it light, and he didn't he never got upset. Like he always seemed like he was, fresh and ready to go anytime somebody said anything to him. So
yeah,
that was my taking away from him. DeSantis seemed strong. He seemed just the normal DeSantis type deal. He played a lot on his time with the Navy SEALs, and things of that nature. So that was I thought it was a good way to play it, because no one else in there had like major, that was a major feather in his cap, I guess. So the other one that was interesting was Mike Pence, like actually seemed semi-presidential. And like he actually came in and had decent, strong talking points and stuff. But it was even like my wife said, and I've heard a couple other people say, like he almost weaponizes Jesus. Like, well, I have this faith in God and blah blah blah, and I will use it because my faith in God is better than your faith in God type thing.
Oh, yeah, the Elijah complex, huh?
Like, and that's the way it kind of comes across, is like he's weaponizing his faith in God against you. You're just like, wait, what'd you just say to me? Type thing. You're
What's
like,
that, bro?
Yeah, what? And he never comes out and like says it, but you just feel like there's, some kind of, just different, he's just
holier than thou.
Weird robotic dude. I'm like, that guy's like, I said that guy's hair is like glued to his head. Like
I
it
think
was
he's
like
a traitor.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
I'm
not voting for him. I don't like Pence. I think he's a
no. I don't
turncoat.
either, and I don't think like like he made some points and he sounded strong and he didn't like he's going to be 82 when the next presidential person is inaugurated. And he didn't seem like he was 80 years old. Like he seemed a lot. They actually, they must have got a mortician or something because his makeup looked fresh and he looked good. Those guys can do amazing things with makeup. That was mean. Anyhow, probably true though. So anyhow, so he looked good. I mean, he looked strong and he didn't. I mean, he at least didn't look like Biden. When he does his speaking engagements and stuff, he looked at least like he was alive.
Right.
I didn't see any wires in his sleeves or anything, or talking puppets behind, no hand up his rear, so.
Oh, that's a shame.
The outside guys, Asa, whatever his name is, it doesn't really matter because he'll probably never show up at a debate again. And I think it was Hutchinson and Bergamon. They didn't show up much. I mean, they just, this was your shot. And for Bergamon, he kept speaking about, I'm from a small town. And I'm like, you're not even from just a small town. You're from a small state. He's from North Dakota. And I'm like, there's more sheep in that state than there are people.
Right.
So,
good thing we don't let them vote.
That's right. We don't let North Dakota vote or the sheep.
Well, I meant the sheep.
Anyhow. But... Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, we should have just not let North Dakota vote. But so anyhow, so with him, but neither of them, like one of the guys that I was listening to today, mentioned his eyebrows were just like he had these, Scorsese eyebrows, and he kind of did, and I commend him a little bit because I guess he blew his Achilles tendon out playing, doing some practice basketball ahead of the day, and so he was standing up there for 2 hours on a blown Achilles tendon, and you could tell like every time they put him on camera, he was like shifting a little bit, and he wasn't feeling real comfortable. He did make the joke that he took it a little too literal to break a leg before he came. Like they said, break a leg, and he did it.
He went and did
type
that
thing. Yeah, so that was funny. But just the takeaways on that was just that was it. That was the takeaway, is that he was from a small town and that he broke his leg, or he blew his Achilles out.
Well,
so
is that something you can vote for?
Yes, I'm voting for blown Achilles. I mean, I don't want that to happen to me because I've had it before, and that's not cool. But, yeah. So I think you vote. Is this the drinking game or bingo? Yeah.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd get blown Achilles at the in the debate bingo, but I did, and it was great. Right. So
that's funny.
What was it? Nikki Haley. She was decent. She wasn't terrible. She, she had a couple one-liners stuck in her pouch, and so she made the Margaret Thatcher quote about, if you want to talk about something, talk to a guy. If you want something done, call a woman. Well, so I was like, and the second she said it, I was like, oh, she's been holding on to that one for a little bit, type thing.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, she had a couple pitfalls with the, abortion thing. She's trying to say like she wants too much federal power, and I'm not into that. I would rather it all just stay in the states. States can decide, blah, blah, blah. As much as I would like there to be no abortion, I guess I think for the health of the country, it needs to be a state issue. As much as they say Ohio is, could be lost, could lose abortion issues and stuff like that. I just think it's more of a state issue. As many issues as we can get in the state realm, that's better to me. Is that it's less federal oversight, less federal coverage. That would be better.
Right.
So and she just always kept talking about we're gonna create this and we're gonna put this in the amendment and we're gonna have a federal, and it's like, you do know that you're an executive branch member. You're not creating laws. If you wanted to do that, run for Congress, you should already know that because you're a governor. But whatever. And then the one I really like him. I want him to be somewhere in between who he is and Ramaswamy. And he just didn't show out like that. Is that Tim Scott? I think he's a really cool guy. He has a good background. He's a good Christian man. He's a senator from South Carolina right now.
What's his name?
Tim Scott.
Scott.
If you look him up, he's been on The View, and he just tore them to bits. It was awesome. He just came about an inch shy of straight up calling Whoopi Goldberg a racist. So, mad respect for that. But when he showed up a little bit. He sounded good. He just doesn't, he just doesn't have that, that it that you can just say, he didn't just come across and say, look, I will spear you and become president. I want him to be like a Bobby Lashley and him. He's bald, big, bald, black guy. I want him to be spearing guys on the stage or something. Just come out there and just strongly beat down a man. And so, he just didn't seem overly presidential. He seemed strong. Yeah. He seemed like a good senator. And that's probably where he'll end up staying. But, I really like him, and I think I wish he would have a better shot. Partially because I want to end the reign of, you're running for president, you're a racist. Because I think as a black guy, they wouldn't be able to really call him racist. 2, I want to see what they would do when the Republican running is a black guy, and they can then, or an African American, and then they can then say, oh, it's a historical vote. It's the second African American to run for president. Blah blah blah. And then will they actually vote for Republican, or they just, are stupid?
Yeah.
But anyhow, and that's also kind of the point with Ramaswamy. He is a first generation American. He has built himself pretty much from nothing. He's built 2 or 3 billion-dollar .com type companies.
Mm-hmm.
As a 38-year-old, he's traveled the world, made big business deals. He kind of has set himself up in the President Trump style arena, where he is kind of outlandish in sometimes what he says. He's also a very good businessman. He has dealt with, Israel. He's been to Israel. He does have a faith in God, and a couple kids.
Which God?
Wife. As far as I know, it's the Judeo-Christian God.
Oh.
So he kind of reminds me of the mega church, charismatic movement style that he, that kind of style of where he's been. So I mean, I'd have to look it up. I haven't looked too much past. I mean, we still got a year and a half. I don't want to do too much work on all of these guys until I see, like, first time, second debates, first actual caucus type thing. See who drops out. I'm sure this, these two outside guys, you'll see Chris Christie drop out. He had to be relevant for a few minutes at least. And then he'll get his speaking engagements again because he's been on the presidential, track and stuff. And so he'll cover his next year of speaking engagements.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you got to at least, keep yourself relevant and working. So
Every now and then.
Yeah, just a little bit. So Trump was not without his fanfare. He did a Tucker Carlson interview on Twitter. At the same time, they pre-recorded it. I haven't watched the whole interview, which I know I just said, you're kind of a booger face if you're doing commentary on the debates and you haven't watched them. I didn't specifically say that, but, I was kind of alluding to the fact that, there was a guy on. I changed the channel because he was talking about the debates from third person, and it was kind of annoying. So from what I've heard, it was good. It was wide-ranging on the subjects, and they even talked about whether Epstein killed himself or not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which President Trump does not believe that Epstein killed himself, or does not believe that he was murdered. He believes that he killed himself and that they were not. They just were negligent. So,
okay.
He does believe the news and all of that.
Yeah, that's the popular.
Yeah,
that's the popular one.
Popular opinion. So, all right, on to the actual news. Things have been kind of crazy. They did mention. Have you heard this? Rich Men North of Richmond song from Oliver Anthony.
No.
Now you should definitely check it out. It's on the top song right now on the YouTube Billboard charts. It's so
why
weird
is
to
that?
say. It's a fairly it's a conservative song. And it talks about how the rich men north of Richmond, which is people in D.C., have taken over the country and are, now we can't buy gas, we can't buy groceries, we can't buy blah blah blah, because they're they're running the country into the ground, and how all of us Americans are pissed.
Oh yeah.
So there's quite a few conservatives out there, and they've listened to the song and ran it up the charts. So he's the first artist to debut a top on top of the Billboard, a Hot 100, without charting anywhere else prior, or without having a song charted anywhere else prior.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's pretty special.
Yeah, he's never been on anything, never had a song on, and right now he's got 4 or 5 out of the top out of the top 25, or 6 out of the top 25 songs right now on the YouTube charts.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was
check
like,
him out.
And he's like just one of those like kind of folksy old storyteller types. He's not old. He's a younger guy like us, or like big old red beard and things of that nature. So, just playing along. But yeah, that was kind of a cool little deal. They did mention him and asked why maybe he has hit such a chord with everybody at the debates, and half of them had no clue.
Oh.
I mean, they played the song and everything. And that was one thing that Ramaswamy, I'm not sure whether it was terrible. It was a cringing moment because it was like a little crass. He did mention that he was the only one on stage not bought and paid for. And, and then some of the commentators were like they didn't understand what he was saying. We're like, oh, I can't believe he would say that. He's not going to take, donations and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's not what he's saying. He's bought and paid for in the fact that they have interests that have
right.
paid them money for the fact of them doing something. And so they can't do, we can't go against, solar energy, or we can't go against big coal, or, something like that. And so they, they were saying that, whatever. So anyhow, he did say that, and it was kind of one of those, like, you almost were like, that was a little too far. But, it was one of those things. And he got into, some arguments here and there. It was, since you won't be able to see it, you'll just have to take my word for it. But since nobody from Fox is nobody other than Fox is actually playing their videos and stuff. So
that's weird. I think that's weird.
Yeah. No, for one, it's terrible that the RNC even signed that contract, that they allowed that, because now they have no footage for commercials, for anything. They can't use that footage at all. And that makes zero sense. But, whatever. The RNC is infinitely wisdomed and knows how to get things done, And maybe they didn't care because Trump wasn't going to be there, and they're, that was the one thing that Nikki Haley said, is that one point she made that was actually an okay point, is that, she was a good friends with Trump, but he's not going to factor because he's going to be in courtrooms for the next year. And so he may not, so how is he going to run when, he's just in a courtroom all, for the next year or so.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that's a good question.
And that is an honest take. That actually was a decent take. Pence tried to make a similar take. They said, "Will you the one question was, will you pardon Donald Trump if you become president?" Ramaswamy had his arm up, hand up before anybody, and then everyone else kind of slowly did afterwards, and Pence didn't. And he said, "Oh, I don't believe he's going to go to jail, or he's going to get convicted of anything. You got to be convicted to pardon him." So
he's not going to see any jail time, but he's still going to be convicted.
Right. Well, and that's I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that's not the case, because then we'll see over the next how many years, we'll see more and more backlash. We'll see other cases where the president is brought up because he's whatever he's doing, whatever he did with his life. So let's go on to some of the other headlines. You remember Fukushima? It's the Japanese town that had the meltdown, the nuclear meltdown, because they had an earthquake that then created a typhoon that then created something else. There was 3 major things that happened to them all in one shot. Well, they had a 9.0 earthquake, which then created a 100-foot wave that prompted a meltdown. So they had the wave, the meltdown, earthquake
boy.
all in one fell swoop. So anyhow, they've been pumping 130,000 gallons or 170 tons per day of water into cool the reactors.
Yeah.
And then they've been filtering this water and putting them in over 1,000 tanks, and they're now crowding the storage site. So, starting today, they're roughly going to start pumping 130,000 gallons of water of what the EPA considers safe water, safe levels of radioactive elements back into the sea. Roughly 130,000 gallons of that water is going back per day for decades.
Oh, jeez. That seems like a mess.
Well, that seems safe. Radioactive levels, safe levels of radioactive elements.
I didn't know that was such a thing.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's like having lead. This is an acceptable level of lead in my water.
Oh.
So this is an acceptable level of radioactive elements in my water.
Well, no offense, but I don't want any lead in my water.
What? You don't? No way. Why would you? Why wouldn't you want any lead in your water?
I also don't want to.
No radioactive materials either, huh? Okay.
I guess if we have to.
Environmental lobbyist groups, fishing lobbyists, neighboring China, they've all had questions and brought up things.
Well, yeah, I would imagine so.
Like they've all just been like, yeah. So,
that's wild.
Yeah. So there's still 12 miles of area that is no longer inhabited because of this whole incident. I was reading one article about this guy that was a fisherman. He now lives in a town that he has no background, no family history, never went there before that day.
Right.
And, they evacuated him, gave him 3 years of pay, and now he can't find to work. And he doesn't have, I'm sure soon he's going to be homeless or something. I don't know. Maybe they give him a home. But, yeah, they have to monitor him if he goes back. And so he goes back to his property and grabs things and stuff like that. They have to monitor all of the radioactive material on him.
Well, yeah.
So, yeah.
Can't let him out much.
But yeah, they're going to dump 130,000 gallons of water back in the ocean, back in the sea right there.
I'm sure it's fine.
I mean, honestly, if anything's fine, the ocean is the one thing that filters itself and takes care of itself pretty well. I mean, it's just, I don't know, billions of gallons, billions, trillions, it's 70% of the earth, so. But it does take care of itself pretty well. I mean, it filters out those dead bodies and things of that nature that people throw in there. So
it does do that, doesn't it?
It does do it pretty well. So
the final frontier.
Right. There was a brain reading breakthrough. Advances in digital surgical implants paired with brainwave reading artificial intelligence has allowed 2 speech-paralyzed patients to communicate with unprecedented ability. According to a pair of studies published yesterday, while similar brain-computer interfaces have previously provided some abilities. Sorry, it was in a different color, so it's throwing me off. Some abilities to communicate for patients with brain or spinal injuries. Researchers say the new platforms approach fluid speech. That's crazy. I mean, just think what Hawking would have sounded like had he had something like that.
Yeah.
You know, the two patients were able to speak at a rate of 70 words per minute, slightly less than half the rate of a normal conversation. Who are they talking? Like, do we speak at 7? Am I speaking at 70 words a minute, or I mean, like, or 140 words a minute? I mean, that seems pretty quick.
Yeah.
I mean, like two words a second. I mean, maybe I'm one of those speech impaired people. So to achieve the breakthrough, a machine learning model was trained by comparing electrical signals in the brain to a large set of more than 125,000 words. The information was then vocalized via a speech-to-text software. So, yeah.
That's sweet.
And then scientists say the results suggest a realistic path forward for restoring speech to paralyzed patients in the relatively near future. So, I mean, it's cool. It's a great breakthrough. I mean, I'm always interested to hear those kind of things. We talked about, I talked about last week, there was and I would just kind of move over to it. I think I've got it still on here. Study finds kids play. Nope. Self-driving cars. Nope. Nope. I didn't keep it. So anyhow, there was an article I read last week on that they had sustained kidney function in a clinically dead person on life support, completely, brain dead, for over a month out of a kidney out of a pig. So they had genetically engineered this pig so that it didn't have some kind of sugar in its genetic makeup that normally causes your body to reject that body part. It's a sugar that humans don't make and most mammals don't make. It's just that pigs and things of that nature make. And so they had genetically engineered it out of this pig or whatever that they used, and was able to put this kidney in, and it worked for a month at least.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, so I was talking about how ethical is the genetic modification of pigs. I mean, we use them already for heart valve transplants and things of that nature. Is it ethical? Are we starting to play too much towards, trying to play God? Are we trying to keep people alive too long? Or, are we artificially keeping people alive longer than they're supposed to be? Obviously we're not catching God off guard by, creating these genetic modifications. But is that really part of the plan? Is, when it's your time, is it your time, or is it when it's your, is that, are we playing with that, or, or what, type deal?
Yeah. That's a good old question. One for the ages.
No opinions on that.
I don't.
I feel your fence sitting here.
I am momentarily doing some fence sitting. I believe that if it's your time to go, it's your time to go. I believe in walking with a purpose on this planet. discovering who you are as a person. But I
Well,
believe that we are given experiences. Each of us are given experiences to better ourselves. I guess we're supposed to be mirroring Jesus. I don't know. That's what the Bible says.
well, and I said it's more complicated than just saying, well, when it's your time, it's your time, because I have a cousin. She's the same age as I am, and we don't have to go into what that age is. But she at 19 or at 17 or 18, she basically was told that, like, she had complete kidney failure.
Yeah.
And so she had to go on dialysis. She had, her parent actually donated a kidney to her. And so, that kidney lasted for so long, and then it failed, or it was rejected. And so it's not like, so with that, how do you tell that person then that, it's your time? We could have genetically engineered a pig to give you unlimited kidneys, but, and you wouldn't have had to go through all of that dialysis and all of that, but we didn't, because we figured it was playing God.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's this godlike attribute that is called free will, and free will lets you experiment with heart valves from pigs and stuff like that.
Right.
God's not gonna interrupt your life from what you're doing. He's not. So
yeah, but on an ethical level, like, we talked about, cloning sheep, using, stem cells, and using stem cells from fetuses, things of that nature. Like, where do we end up drawing that line? Where do we, the Tower of Babel type deal, where do we draw that line to where we're, getting too close, or we're getting too, I mean, at the end, there's an ultimate line drawn, and God just, messes up your crap. But
I mean, have I taken medicine? Yeah. I mean,
right.
There's to me, in my opinion, there's ethical medicine, and then there's experimental medicine. And like, I would say, like, penicillin, that's a pretty amazing invention that we've turned into a medicine that helps a lot of people stay alive.
Right.
So
And
I've taken offshoots of penicillin and amoxicillin and all that. So, like, where's the ethical line there? I mean, is it interrupting free will? Because it's not going to interrupt God's plan. So,
right. And that's like, it's like what I just said. Like, God knows what's going to happen, and
right.
so are we just using our brains to create a level of care for people? And he knew this was going to happen, and so we haven't messed with his plan, because obviously his plan is contingent on us making the decision, and he knows what our decision, so it gets into preordained or not, or whether he, I guess. But
yeah,
at the same time, is it just that, God did create animals for our usage, and he didn't just say, just eat them.
Right.
So is that kind of the what we use? I mean, this is all just, like, obviously hypothetical and things of that nature, but we still want to ask those questions to get you, to kind of give you that thought, to get you thinking about those things. We don't just want to, I don't ever just want to leave you with, well, that's the bottom line. That's what the answer is.
I think that's the point, is to be always be checking yourself and always asking
Right.
those questions like, what is ethical? What is moral? Because culture will say at one point this was not ethical and now it is ethical.
Well, and I guess I guess that comes down to, can you do it humanely? Can you do it, are you doing it in a way that,
Yeah.
I think when we made white tigers, we, maybe that wasn't as ethical as, splicing the genes of a pig before he was born and stuff like that.
Right.
So we're not making anything brand new. We're just, making it work, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
So,
Well, scientists, get so wrapped up in, and I'm going to borrow from Jurassic Park here, but scientists get wrapped up in so much science that they don't stop to think about if they should do something. They just, try to
right.
innovate.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, think about that. And did you see that the former Wagner Group chief, Yevgeny Prigozhin, the Russian guy that went back and decided to attack Putin, that took his mercenary force and took it back towards the Russian capital there. All of a sudden I lost it. He's dead.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's, you knew he was going to either be dead or never come back to Russia.
Right.
But, yeah, he was on a plane headed to St. Petersburg from Moscow, and they lost signal, and all 10 of them are dead and recovered somehow. So, yeah.
That's how a
data
conspiracy
is gone.
works.
Well, and that's what I said to begin with. Like, there's only one way that he's allowed to leave the country, go to Belarus, and he gets cleared of all charges, is the fact that he actually he was going to be able to get to, Putin. He was actually going to create issues. And, and so they were literally scared of him. I mean, he had one of the most formidable mercenary groups in Russia. And so there was, that is the only reason they negotiated with him. Otherwise, if Putin thought he could go in and bomb this guy to crap and kill him right off, without any newsworthy sentiments, then he would have done that.
Right.
I mean, if you know anything about Putin, if he could take a strike force in and kill this guy without a major issue, he would have done that. He probably actually tried, and this dude just wiped his strike forces off the earth, because this guy was one of Putin's best strike forces. This was his guy. This was the only guy that's really been pushing back on Ukraine, that was actually, pushing the line on Ukraine back, and was actually gaining ground. And he finally got tired of Russia attacking Russians. And so he got attacked by Russia, and he turned his boat around and said, okay, look at this. I can attack Russia too. And, so now he's dead, and 9 guys with him. He made a public video the other day following his mutiny, first public video. And,
Is America too civilized to be compared to Russia?
Yes. Yes and no. So the reason, we haven't, and this is a sad thing, I don't think we have started our own hacking department. I think we on a regular level, we're playing defense, computer wise, more than we're playing offense. Like, I don't put it past that we've thought about, or that we've maybe done some things here and there, affected, presidential candidates, or affected, whatever, to get who we want. But I feel like with the last couple presidents that we've had, that were not named Donald Trump, or did not rhyme with Donald Trump, that we've gotten weak on it, and we've just thought, well, we'll just fight our own people. And so I don't think that we're sitting in, we've got a team of 4,000 people sitting in a basement just writing code to attack Russia. Like Russia's got attacking us.
Right.
Russia is good friends with China, and I believe 100% that they've got 4,000 people in a basement trying to attack China.
Absolutely.
Because Russia is Russia. Russia, that's what communism is. Communism, socialism, Marxism, all of that is literally having, because you have thought about taking everybody's money and running off with it yourself, because you have the ability to do that you think everybody else is doing that too. And so you now become so paranoid that, you attack your friends, you attack yourself, you attack everybody. And if you don't do that, you don't feel like you're preemptively striking.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're attacking ourselves but we're not attacking ourselves in the fact that we're creating a push or a nationalism. We're attacking ourselves in the fact that we're creating a division, which will eventually either split the country or, there will become another revolution. Not as in like Revolutionary War type revolution, but there will be a new changing of the guard type thing. There will be, if one of these Republicans come in, I know that, like Ramaswamy said, he was going to defund education, defund, the FBI, all kinds of stuff like that. We were actually having a conversation the other day watching the new Jack Ryan. And me and my wife were talking about something with the CIA. And I said, there was something where the CIA had, or they had some kind of contact with people on the U.S. soil, or they took someone down on U.S. soil. And I told my wife, I said, that's super illegal. And she's like, I said, because the CIA is not to operate on U.S. soil. And
that's what they say. They've never done a Black Ops mission.
And that's fine. But I followed it up with, and I would guess that over 50% of the population doesn't realize that.
Right.
And she's like, you really think that people don't know that the CIA is not supposed to operate on U.S. soil? Yeah, they don't know it, like they don't know that the FBI isn't supposed to destroy us all.
Right. You mean the Clinton Foundation?
Yeah, I mean, right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
But federal bill inspections. So there are 3 major tropical storms churning in the ocean right now. All
do we have
came out
names?
in one day. Yeah, we've got Franklin, Emily, and Gert.
I don't like
They
it.
should have named them like Franklin Delano
And Roosevelt.
Roosevelt's, which wouldn't have gone because, they go in
Chester.
alphabetical order.
Chester.
So, right.
Woodrow.
Yeah. So, yeah, Franklin, Emily, and Gert are tropical storms right now. They're all about...
And I don't suppose they asked you about naming them, did they?
No, they didn't. I would have named it like Felix, Emilio, and Gonstrasto.
Yeah.
Or Gustavo.
Next
or
time I'm going to
like
need
that.
you to weigh in on that.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to. I think that, well, at one point I was a company namer of axes. And so that was, a good time. I thought I did a good job,
Absolutely.
But, so these tropical storms are about 50 miles an hour right now. They could, as soon as this weekend, become tropical depressions. Or they were yesterday, they were tropical depressions. Now they're tropical storms. They could be, very soon, hurricanes. So,
Sweet.
and we've had obviously we're at GERT, which is what, 8 letters into the alphabet. We've already had 8 tropical storms or hurricanes already this season, and the season doesn't kick off till mid-September. So look out, South Texas, and
watch out, everyone. Keep your head on a swivel.
Those guys in the Dominican Republic, which haven't completely come back from last one, Haiti, you guys are all on notice.
Did we ever help fix the Katrina people, or?
I mean, they're still figuring out their lives, I think, but whatever.
Did we ever get water to the Superdome down there?
We did try, didn't we? We had a whole us and a group had a whole couple semis full of water. I think they were finally turning it down after like 2 days or 3 days. Bottled water seemed like the cheap and easy way to help people out. Yeah. So on to big news. I don't know if you saw this.
Here we go.
Mario voice actor retires.
Chris Pratt?
Charles Martinet. Chris Pratt? I don't know. He was not Mario's voice actor. He might be now. Yep. He retired. What? Known for the high pitch woohoo and it's me, Mario. He's done. He's going to become a brand ambassador. He's been the Mario voice
for Nintendo
for 32 years. Yep.
Yeah.
He was the original video game character voice. So, yep.
That's sweet.
I actually got to meet him.
What's that?
Pretty cool guy. I actually got to meet him at a Comic-Con when I was doing my Comic-Con days. Pretty cool guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty nice guy. At least at Comic-Cons. Everybody's got their Comic-Con face. So some of them are better than others at tricking you, but...
Did you ever meet Bruce Campbell?
No. What did he do?
Nothing. I just heard he was like a super jerk, which makes me want to meet him even more.
I met a few super jerks, but no, I didn't. Not him. Jason Momoa was cool. I met him.
Was that before Aquaman?
That was after the first Aquaman, which is why he was at a Comic-Con. That was, before that, I don't think there was a reason for him to be at a Comic-Con.
Yeah, he did Game of Thrones. He was Khal Drogo.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. That's right. So, yeah, this was after just after the first Aquaman. But he was cool. He signing autographs. They brought him some Chick-fil-A nuggets. He just kept on signing autographs and eating nuggets. And
that's awesome.
And talking to people. So he was cool. His agent was pretty intense. She was great. She was pretty intense. But
that's funny.
So let's get through a couple of these real quick. Russia crashed their space lander, the moon lander, on the moon. Just straight up smashed it right into the moon. That was funny. India, though, I saw actually landed theirs. India landed theirs on the south side of the moon this morning. So, first country to go to the moon.
Did you watch the video on that one?
No, I didn't see the video yet.
Yeah, you should check out that video.
Does it look good or does it look like CGI?
Oh, it's all CGI.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even good quality. Like, they didn't even ask the guys over at Marvel. They just did it.
They did an AI version of it so the lips and stuff don't match up.
Yeah. I mean, it's terrible.
All right. I'll have to
It's like 1992 graphics, man. It's like...
Well, I mean,
it's like GoldenEye graphics.
That's what the moon's going to look like, right?
God bless America is what I like to say.
That's right. Pakistan cable car rescue. Did you see this? There was eight Pakistani people, including some kids that were on their way to school. They got stuck 900 feet in the air. Basically in a mountain town in Pakistan. The kids either have to take a 2.5-hour walk, or they can go on this cable car that takes 15 minutes. 4 minutes. It's a 2-hour walk or a 4-minute ride. And so they have to take this cable car, which is literally a cable with a dangling car on it. And, but they can get there in 4 minutes instead of 2-hour walk to school every day. So, yeah. 900 feet above, they were trying to get them with helicopters, and then there was just too much wind. I guess the cable snapped, which is which was the deal. But it was just a cable. It just stopped the car from going anywhere from then. So they had to they had to bring somebody from below. They were climbing out on there. There was a huge thing. So, in the news of financials, Foot Locker shares went down 28%. Peloton is also going down 23% because they have to recall now.
Oh.
Yeah, seems like when you stop making your own equipment, the quality gets worse.
Yep.
Yeah. Microsoft is restructuring $69 billion of acquisitions in the game giant Activision, which is Activision Blizzard now, because Activision and Blizzard came together. Then Microsoft bought them, and now they can't make any money because they're a computer company.
Right.
So they're going to
go back to being Blizzard?
Yeah, I wish. They will transfer cloud gaming units to Ubisoft in a bid for UK regulatory approval. So I mean, it. The problem is Blizzard, once they put out that first couple games, they had troubles putting out new games, and so they actually, I think they only literally as Blizzard put out a handful of games. And then Activision came in and was like, "Oh, they're so innovative. They bought Blizzard out somehow." Blizzard was able to keep around long enough to. I mean, I think there was a couple games that were 3, 4 years, 5 years into development, and they couldn't get the game to work. But anyhow, $69 billion for Activision Blizzard.
That's not bad.
Also, U.S. home sales, they dropped 2.2%, which from July to June is down 16.6% over last year's July. So, and the median house price is $406,000. Yeah, which is up 1.9% from last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So football season's starting. I figured we'd bring in some sports things here a little bit. Tampa Bay. Did you see this Tampa Bay Rays all-star shortstop? Wander Franco, he's getting placed on administrative leave pending multiple investigations in the Dominican Republic over his alleged relationship with minors.
Oh.
He's a 21-year-old kid. Or 22-year-old. And, so he's in trouble. Some people say he'll never play again.
Probably not.
Probably not.
He won't be any good.
I mean, he'll still be himself. Like he's like a wonder kid, but which I guess you don't say in baseball very often. He's a top prospect.
How many positions can he play?
I don't remember. Like he's a shortstop, so he can probably play like 6. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, any more of the shortstops can't play more than a shortstop. But
That's what I'm saying.
Used to be like if you had put like Barry Larkin, he could have probably played third base and first and second and left field. You know, any of those spots, but
right.
But nowadays they're kind of so there's a. Yeah, there was an explosion at a NFL cornerback's house. Caleb Farley's house kills his father, and his house was exploded. Yeah, they still, from what I've seen, they haven't said what the explosion was from. Like his house literally is flat. Like there's nothing left of the house. I'm like
that big.
How did your house just explode? It's like a 6,000.
More than just someone left the gas on.
Yeah, it was a 6,000 square foot house. Like, I've never even had my house caught on fire. I mean, that I didn't like light a tiny fire, but like, I've never had like part of my house on fire. So, I mean,
yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't know whether it was like just a faulty like workmanship or something, or they were trying to create crystal meth. I just don't have a clue, and speculating is just probably irresponsible.
Yeah, in 2023, yeah, it is.
It's either irresponsible or CNBC, one of the two. Or MSNBC, one of the three.
MSNBC. Definitely that one.
So, the death toll from the Greek wildfires, which we talked about last week, everything was on fire. I think that was even the name of the episode is Everything's on Fire. So Greece is now also on fire, which Greece always should be on fire. I mean, it's Greece. But anyhow, they're having wildfires, and they've lost as many as rises to 20. I'm not sure why that was major news, but 20 people are dead in the Greece fires. South Carolina Supreme Court upholds the state ban on abortion after 6 weeks, reversing its decision from January to strike down a similar ban passed in 2021. So that's a win for abortion. And then also a U.S. judge rules fully AI-generated artwork cannot be copyrighted.
Really?
So if you create artwork and by hitting a button or telling it what you want and hitting a button, it is not copyrightable. Yeah. I wondered how that was going to end up, and then I happened to see this story this afternoon.
So that's something I've been thinking about for years because I'm kind of nerdy and I watch Star Trek and Star Wars, and they're always like every time you watch a new Star Trek show, it's always like there's always a cyborg or
Right.
that doesn't have rights, and then the cyborg becomes more sentient somehow, and then it wants rights. So at what point are we going to give rights to AI? Is AI truly sentient enough?
Does it have its own? Yeah, I think the this is more of you type it in, it's all from you, and then it's created by AI. It's not like a cyborg is, like the actual AI is thinking
Right.
up, this is what I'm going to create for artwork. Because I don't know, like, how would a cyborg or how would an AI generated being
Mm-hmm.
create feeling?
Yeah.
Like, it seems like it would still just be mimicking other forms of artwork. Like, because you put in, like, Chat GPT or whatever, that you want a blah, blah, blah done in, Andy Warhol style.
Mm-hmm.
And then it will do it in the style of Andy Warhol. So, then it wouldn't be its own original style or anything. It would be, similar to that. So,
I think they're opening a big can of worms with that, because
I do too. I think this is the right move, is to say that they can't
Right.
copyright it, because at the end of the day, can you continue to create original pieces, and are they really original pieces, or is it just a, I don't know, is it just artwork?
right.
So I wanted to get to this because I talked about it last week. San Francisco expands its robot taxis. Basically, we talked about last week that the California regulators, self-driving car companies, Waymo and Cruise, have been driving driverless cars around the San Francisco for a little while now. Basically autonomous cars, and one of them does like actual, like, they remote control them, kind of like you would with a UAV or something like that. But then you still have to, if there was an issue with the car, they were running a drivered car behind it. But I think they had gone away from that on this. There was a rental car company that was taking you, like sending your car to you with a remote driver, and then you would take over the car and blah blah blah, and then you could leave it wherever you were, and they would drive the car back to their base station. And so with this, the new headline, the update headline, is self-driving car company Cruise cuts its fleet in half after a Thursday night accident involving a fire truck. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So who didn't see that coming? Because fire trucks don't run on the same system as your normal traffic. Like, no, we didn't write into the programming, look for lights and shut down, or, if you see blinking, which could be problematic, because then you got those blinking lights on, yield signs and stuff, and all of a sudden you just shut your car down. It's like, but so, yeah, we didn't see the fact that, a fire truck that runs through an intersection because it's trying to get to an emergency event, and the car just, right into it. We didn't see that coming. That wasn't in the.
It wasn't in the budget.
In the things we didn't, or was this, or because it wasn't in the budget, was this an acceptable collateral damage?
Acceptable losses.
This is acceptable, an acceptable glitch.
That's funny and sad at the same time.
Right. That is the. So anyhow, I guess it wasn't acceptable because they've cut their driving car fleet in half. Even just it's only been 2 weeks since they basically removed all limits off of the car companies. just let them go willy-nilly. So, well, Jboots, you got anything? I've got a whole list of articles to go through, but we're kind of running towards the end of it here, our time. I mean, there was a lot of stuff I had to get to last week, and still missed out on a bunch of stuff. You know, there's 2 American tourists were found sleeping on the top of the Eiffel Tower in Paris. So there was that.
It's just a wild time to be alive.
It's crazy. I mean, they paid their entry ticket and ended up on top of the Eiffel Tower somehow. Yeah. The something that we haven't talked about, which you probably ought to talk about, you know, in gooder, longer, more detail. The U.S. Navy joins the Army and the Marines as the military units operating without a Senate-confirmed military leader. So, I mean, the only one that's running with a military leader now is the Air Force and the Coast Guard. Space Force.
No.
So we've got three military, 3 of our most formidable or normal military branches are running without confirmed leaders. They're now running on backup leaders. You know, they're running on like the second string leader.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like that's what the country's doing right now, but you know, anyhow.
I still wouldn't give Biden that much credit.
Being second string, he's maybe. It's more like, here's the deal. Like, there's San Francisco, the 49ers. Like, he's like when they ended up losing the Super Bowl because they were on their 4th or 5th quarterback, and that 4th or 5th quarterback really wasn't tenable. It just happened to be that he was on the team because they had destroyed their 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and they were like, well, we got to have at least somebody to back up this 4th guy.
Right.
So before the days of Purdy, when the 3rd string quarterback actually could do something for him. Yeah. So
right.
This is one I thought you'd be interested in, and we'll talk about the military ones later more in depth. I'll leave it on the list here. But Antarctica is developing its own accent. Think about that. No. There aren't actually people who live on Antarctica. Like,
correct.
There is a population of scientists, they said about 5,000 to 1,000, depending on what season it is. So during the summer, about 5,000.
Yeah.
During the winter, it's about 1,000. Yeah. And they said, based on the fact that they seem to be a kind of a rotation of the same scientists, that they now have their own kind of dialect and the way they talk to each other and stuff like that. So they have.
I mean, I get that. I get that, but also, how are the penguins?
Also, how are the penguins?
Because, man, see what you did there.
I know. I knew what I was doing. Oh man. Well, let's keep that for another day. We'll just keep that for another podcast. We'll do a whole conspiracy theorist podcast. So,
okay.
Headline, breaking news headline right now: you can cry underwater. Study
That's
finds,
news?
Yep, study finds that you can cry underwater.
Okay.
Yeah, right now I'm clearing out some of the fun stories that you missed last week. A lady was was attacked by a snake that was dropped by a hawk, and then was attacked by a hawk, trying to regain that snake.
Was it the same hawk?
Yes.
That's glorious.
So she was mowing her grass. This hawk flies over with a snake in its talons, drops the snake on her. Before she could get the snake off of her, the snake bites her in the face, wraps around her arm. The hawk then realizes
I feel like that was
he doesn't have.
I feel like that was a Marvel team up.
Right.
I feel like the snake and the hawk came together and said, "Okay, we're going to finally get this old lady. Like, I'll drop you on her, and then you bite her, and then I'll swoop in and take her knees out."
Right, and then the hawk, trying to get the snake, grabs her arm and the snake and tries to fly off.
Right.
So
yeah, that's a conspiracy.
Yeah.
That's a cover-up.
Yeah. You guys just missed it, so. Well, we're nearing the end. I guess it's time for a walk through the Florida Man headlines here, see if there's anything interesting to look at. So we've got first one, Florida man accused of driving 112 miles an hour and killed a woman is in a fiery car crash in March, is charged with manslaughter. That dude knew what he was doing.
Well, yeah, 112 miles an hour?
Right. 112 miles an hour. Florida man shares photo holding a dolphin out of water, prompts an investigation. What's a dude holding a dolphin out of water for?
I have questions.
All right. What's your questions? I'll go back.
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Florida man claims $1 million off $50 scratch off. That's pretty normal. Florida man arrested for DUI wearing "I'm the reason the beer's gone" t-shirt. The beer's always gone t-shirt. Oh, the baby dolphin is dead, because there's another headline that says baby dolphin believed to be dead after Florida man picked it up for an Instagram photo. Real life hamburglar breaks into restaurant stealing over $11,000 of meat and other ingredients. Florida man. Florida man. Nude Florida man accused of trying to break into Kissimmee homes. I feel like we read that one similar to that the other day. All right. Florida man's traffic stop for illegal motorcycle lights turns into a sizable drug bust.
Traffic light.
Florida man proposes to girlfriend with a hot dog at the Whacked Out Wiener in Foley.
Come on, you're making that up.
Nope, it's sitting here. He had a chili mac dog with a side of ketchup and mustard and an
no
engagement
girl
ring.
wants to be proposed to like that
At a place called Whacked Out Wiener.
At a place called Whacked Out Wiener? No girl wants that. Use your brain, dude.
Florida man. Do. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, man. So that was the run through the Florida man headlines. So, Jboots, did you learn anything?
Yeah.
What was that you learned today?
Well, first of all, don't propose to your girl at a hot dog stand. That's never any kind of romantic ever. So,
Never. She said yes. She said yes.
like, I feel bad for her now. Like,
Yeah.
I know she said yes, but she must really. Is that where real love lives? Is in Florida
At the Whacked Out Wiener.
at the Whacked Out Wiener? Is that what real love?
The owner gave the
Yeah.
couple a pair of T-shirts to celebrate the occasion.
But he did. I bet he did. That's a winner.
Oh man.
I learned that. I still love Putin and I love America.
America. Yeah, Putin got the upper hand on that guy. Poor guy. Should have seen that coming. So, yeah, just a reminder, just make sure that you're, checking out our Facebook page. We're live here on Twitch, Facebook, 2 different YouTube channels. Why I'm Angry Podcast. Look it up. We'll also have video evidence of us on our website at whyimangry.com. Make sure you're checking out all of that. You can get our podcast, which will be available at 5:30 on Friday morning at any of the places that you get your podcast. Stitcher is probably not going to be available very soon because that's going out of business and is going away. So that will be out. But anywhere else you get your podcast, we are available. Make sure that you're checking out our merch page. That's one of the major ways that we get funded. And make sure you're listening to our podcast because that keeps us funded also. Obviously, the multiple ads that you heard, we've had to add more ads just to make 2 or 3 cents. So until we get built up, we're waiting on that. So we're still fighting the good fight of faith and keeping things going. So if you like the Why I'm Angry podcast, make sure you're putting in your 5-star reviews. Make sure you're checking us out on all of our web browser places, things. And you're keeping your subscription buttons hit so that you can find out the newest. Remember to follow, like, and share the Why I'm Angry podcast across all social media platforms and anywhere you get your podcast. The Why I'm Angry podcast ends now.